Look who's here on the Curvy Couch with us. We have Eric Trump. Good morning.
Good morning. It's great to be back.
Good to see you here. What do you make of what the mainstream media is doing? Talking about your dad's immigration plan and his speech and saying that he wants to deport so many people and they're really upset about it. What's the truth here?
Listen, my father wants to protect this country. It's very, very simple. He also wants to preserve the wages of the 320 million people who live in this country. And it's very, very sad. If you look at median income in this country, it hasn't gone up in 15 years. I mean, it hasn't gone up, and yet we have thousands and thousands of people coming across the southern border. They pose a real security risk, and my father wants to take care of the problem. And quite frankly, the people who are in this country who are causing massive problems, he wants to get them out. I mean, he just wants to get them out.
Eric, he seems to be tearing it, saying first we got to get the drug dealers and the gang members, got to get them out, and then we're going to we'll take account, look around, and decide what to do from there. But two things happened over the last 24 hours. Jacob Monti and Alfonso Aguilar, two guys who are members of your Hispanic Council, have said, I don't like the speech, I'm resigning. What's the story there?
Which is actually pretty amazing, considering the speech, it was actually very consistent and has been very, very consistent with his plan. And it was really interesting. I think it took tremendous leadership for him to go down to Mexico and meet with the president. But when you saw the meeting, the president of Mexico even said it was a two-way street. He goes, listen, obviously America has a real problem with tremendous drugs coming across the border. We have tremendous problem with money coming back into our country, and we have tremendous problem with guns and different weapons coming into our country, which are hurting the cartels. So the president even said it was a two-way street, and I was really proud of my father. I mean, I think they left it in a very, very good way. Then the leftist media obviously spins it, et cetera, but it was clear from both leaders that a border is necessary for the protection of their own countries.
Will there be an effort to clarify with these two guys who were advising your dad on Hispanic issues? Will there be an effort to get them in the mix or clarify their position?
Listen, I think so. You know, it's very important to us. And if you look at the Hispanic community and Latino community, they've largely been left behind in this country. If you look at the African American community, it's the same thing, right? They've been left behind by this country in so many places, and it's a very, very sad thing. You look at inner cities, right? 60% unemployment, African American youth in inner cities. They've been left behind. This administration is doing nothing to take care of those communities. And the same applies to Hispanics in many instances, and it's very, very sad. And my father wants to bring jobs back into this country. He wants to make this country safe. And that benefits every American, but every legal American. And there's a difference in his mind between legal Americans and illegal Americans.
But especially Americans at the lower end of the income scale. What's so striking to me is the Democratic Party used to be very concerned with things like wages. How much do you make? That's really meaningful to people. Now they're off on global warming. But your dad's economic argument was kind of a traditional, almost Democratic argument.
Sure, no question about it. Listen, we have 100 million people out of the workforce in this country. Wages haven't gone up in this country, as I said before, in 15 years. Think about that. Since Bill Clinton signed NAFTA, right, in 2001, since he signed NAFTA, we've lost 1/3 of all manufacturing jobs in this country. Our jobs are fleeing this country, yet people are coming into the country and taking the very few jobs that we have left. We have to balance that out, and we also have to protect this country because we need to know who's here. I mean, you can't turn on the TV without seeing another ISIS attack, without seeing another, horrible, horrible tragedy. We need to know who's in this country. We need to protect the American people.
So we found out over the last 2 weeks the commingling of the Clinton Foundation and Hillary Clinton in her days at the State Department. This is the FBI. This is Judicial Watch. This is Citizens United, subpoenaing legitimate records. It's not pundit spin. The latest is that the GSA is revealing that Bill Clinton may have used taxpayer dollars to subsidize the setup of a private server for himself.
Nothing surprises me anymore. I mean, it really does. And you see Hugh Aberdeen, you see her connection, obviously, between the foundation, the State Department, the emails going back and forth, and, big donors wanting to go to dinner with, the vice president. And I mean, it's really horrible. It is pay to play on the largest level. And Americans deserve a lot better. I mean, we as people deserve a lot better. These government officials are employees of ours, the American people. We should be doing a great job, meaning government employees should be doing a great job working for us, and they're simply not.
You mentioned Vice President. This is Joe Biden talking about the Clinton Foundation.
Hilarious.
Do you think Americans should be concerned at all about the ethics of the Clinton Foundation? Has the Clinton Foundation always been 100% ethical in your view?
Look, I think the Clinton Foundation, like all foundations, has found themselves in a position where things are changing, and I think she's going to change and adjust to the realities of how complicated it's all become.
And is she clearing herself up enough then? Should the foundation have stopped taking foreign donations now?
Well, I think you'll see them stop taking foreign
So could you interpret that for us?
This is our leadership. I mean, this is our leadership. No, I can't interpret that. I'm not sure if anybody can interpret that. But this is the leadership that we have in this country. I mean, somebody sets up a foundation. Right. They pocket hundreds of millions of dollars. They say they come out of the White House, quote unquote, dead broke. Now they're worth $150 million. And the question I always ask guys is, what product were they selling? You know, if we make a buck, we sold a bottle of wine, or we sold an apartment, or we sold a hotel room, right? What product were they selling to make $150 million?
Favors the government?
Of course, of course. But it's just so sad. Right. People in this country work so hard, and sometimes they're not able to achieve because of the policies that these politicians put in place. And look what they do.
I'm going to offend Joe Biden. He should be offended because there's a Secretary of State working for the President of the United States, was hired to do a job. Instead, she's commingling the foundation with the Secretary of State job. It really has nothing to do with Joe Biden.
Wait, I don't know. You're not being fair. You didn't read Politico yesterday? They said the Clinton Foundation has made massive strides fighting childhood obesity. I mean,
well,
to be
I'm just
fair.
saying that that's I may have been sarcastic.
Do you know anything about their work on childhood obesity?
I don't. What I know is, Hillary will insult us for making a tie outside the United States because, you literally can't manufacture in this country anymore because of what their policies have done for this country. But yet, just about every dollar that the foundation makes all goes overseas when we have massive problems in our own country. We have massive poverty. We do have obesity problems. We have a lot of problems in this country, right? But instead of fixing the inner cities, instead of fixing the educational system, instead of contributing within the borders of our own country, all that money is going overseas. And I find that very, very ironic.
Yeah, Eric, I wanted to ask you about the forum. There's a forum next week, and your dad kept saying he would participate in the debates as long as the moderator was fair. Well, next week at the forum, it's a military forum, Matt Lauer, it's just been announced, is going to moderate that. What is your dad saying about it? How does he feel?
Listen, I hope Matt will be fair, and we've known Matt for a long time, and been on his show many times, and obviously there's a lot of speculation because of his involvement with the foundation, his knowing Clinton pretty well and everything else. But I hope he'll be fair. I mean, you see some of the stations over at NBC, MSNBC in particular. I mean, it may as well be a super PAC against Trump. I mean, it's really, really sad to see what's happened to the media on that station. I hope that won't be the case with Matt. I hope he'll be fair. And quite frankly, the best debates have always been the ones where the moderators have sat back and just been neutral and asked a good question, let the candidates respond.
Personally, I think he'll do a great job. I think your dad says positive things about him in the past. There's a story today in Politico that among the things happening, a lot of positive things happening for your campaign, but on Monday, evidently you expressed, if this report is true, a little bit upset with the RNC for not doing more to get out in battleground states, and you jettisoned out there to visit with the RNC to say, guys, what's with the delay in the battleground states? Can you tell me if that's true?
And this is, I read that, and I literally shook my head. I mean, the RNC, they are amazing, amazing people. They do an amazing job. I actually went down to Washington, D.C. to check on our hotel. Then I went over to the RNC to, thank 200 great people, however many they have over there, for doing such a great job.
So the it's RNC, erroneous.
Totally. The RNC, they do an amazing job, and they are so committed to us winning, and they're so committed to all Republicans winning. They do a great job.
You're not concerned about the battleground states ground game?
Listen, we ramp up teams and we fight, and we're going to fight very hard, and the newest poll numbers are incredible.
Why do you think that is? Why is your dad doing better in the polls now?
I think he's had an amazing couple weeks. I mean, I think he's had an amazing couple weeks. I always tell him, and I always say that I love the humble Trump because that's the father I know. He's an amazing guy. He has a heart of gold. He's just the greatest father in the world. Right. And he'll be an incredible leader to this country. But I think people have seen that softer side. And listen, I think you have Louisiana that's totally underwater, right? And where's Hillary? She's fundraising. Where's Obama? He's playing golf. Where's my father and Mike Pence? They're down in Louisiana. You see the same thing. The president of Mexico invites Hillary and my father down to Mexico. He's on the next plane to go down there. Where is she? She's fundraising. I mean, it's just a very different, leadership quality, and I think people are starting to see that. And my father will do a great job for this nation. He will do an unbelievable job for this nation.
How's your fundraising?
My fundraising?
Yeah.
For St. Jude?
No, for the Trump for President campaign.
Oh, for that? No, it's great. It's great. Honestly, we're doing so well. We're doing so well. In fact, 2 days ago, the day he gave the immigration speech, we raised $5.2 million in one day. I mean, think about that. $5.2 million in one day from donations that were less than $50. So it's incredible. I mean, the groundswell of support is just tremendous, and it's going so well.
Labor Day plans?
Having fun.
No campaigning? That's it?
Try and get away from politics. I'm a civilian this whole process. Remember that, Brian.
Okay, yeah, I understand.
I'm going to try and step back from politics
for one day.
That's the last
break you're going to have for a while.
It will be. It will be. Thank you, guys.
Thanks so much. Great to see you, Eric.